There's no way that he just said this is following another Leafs collapse and another year of failure. Mitch Marner has finally broken the silence following the Game 7 loss, and he revealed the truth on his future in Toronto, and he said some wild things that have fans not only fired up, but intrigued. We're going to break that down as well. Also discuss some comments from Craig Berube on the team, as well as William Nylander and a couple other guys. Stay tuned for all that in this episode, folks. Before we get into it, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Leafs content. We just hit 20,000 subscribers in our biggest stream to date. So thank you guys for that. 20,000 has been a goal of ours for a while. We're going to continue making daily videos, weekly live streams, everything like that. So thank you to each and every one of you who are in the stream, in the video now. 20,000 subscribers. It means the world to us, and we're going to be pushing now for 30,000. So thank you guys for your support. We're not stopping here. Let's just dive right into it. It was a crazy day today, and I want to start right away with Mitch Marner, and he was asked point blank, not going to waste any time here, if he wants to be back next season, and he responded by reflecting on his time in Toronto before saying he hasn't processed anything yet. And if there was ever a quote, and we're going to dive into some other ones in this video, but also we're going to have multiple videos coming out because there was a lot to go over, some new stuff dropping by the minute, a million different things. However, Darius, we saw this with some other players. They're more open about how they're feeling. Mitch Marner did not say he wants to remain in Toronto. He did not say that he, is actively talking or anything like that. He didn't even hint at the fact that he wants to stay in Toronto. He said he wants to talk to his wife and family, which makes total sense. But if you listen to the press conference like we did live, feel free to check it out, after you finish this video. It seemed like his time in Toronto was over.
Yeah, it did. And in the last two press conferences that we've heard from Mitch Marner, it sounded like he was talking in the past tense to a degree as well. And he was reflecting on his time as a Maple Leaf. He said obviously he loves it in Toronto, loved being a Maple Leaf and all of that. And he said a lot in this press conference, and there was a lot of decent questions thrown out there. And of course, there's one about the narrative. We're going to have another video on that about the pressure in Toronto as well. But a lot of questions, and he spoke a lot. But one thing he did not say definitively is I want to be back. He did not say that at all. Nothing along those lines at all. He also went on to say, because somebody asked him if being a Maple Leaf, if there was too much pressure in being a Maple Leaf and the toll it's taken on his family as well. We're going to have another video on some of the stuff with that as well. But he also said that, yes, at times it does take a toll on his family. Those are very eerily similar words to Kyle Dubas and what he said before he was let go by Brendan Shanahan 2 years ago. So to me, it looks like Mitch Marner will not be back. I just don't know how you return when you're booed every time you touch the puck in what seems to be your final game as a Leaf. There's jerseys flying on the ice. There needs to be change, and the Leafs have an opportunity here to make some change because he is unrestricted free agent. So they have an opportunity for some change here. And again, Brendan Shanahan, we don't know yet at this point in time when we're uploading this what's going to happen with him. I would imagine that there's going to be another press conference with some of the management and maybe Keith Pelly as well. I'm not sure, although he doesn't like to poke his head in too much. It was only his, intro press conference. But you have an opportunity for change here, and it just didn't sound to me like a guy who wants to be back and will be back.
Yeah, and obviously the quotes themselves directly, if you didn't listen to the press conference, whether they were super telling are up to you, but the fact that he didn't say anything about wanting to stay in Toronto is vastly different to some of the other guys who are pending free agents. And also the vibe. I mean, we think about back to right after Game 7 a couple days ago. He said he was speaking in the past tense. So, I mean, it's a good sign, I guess, if you want him, gone. However, he was also asked directly about his future, and he said, I've always loved my time here. I haven't processed anything yet. And like you mentioned, they asked him about what the pressure's like from the outside looking in. He said it has to be hard on his family. He mentioned that his family was around in the stands for some of the games, whether or not they were in the stands for games where the jersey was thrown. I don't know if they were in the stands for Game 7, but regardless, he said it was hard on his family, which is fair. It's the way, it is. But some of the other players that were asked out, like Chris Tanev, they basically just said, yeah, and obviously a different pressure situation, but, you just experience that in every single market. And to dive further in, he said, it's still so fresh. It's tough to say anything right now about the future. I was hoping to be playing hockey at this point. I'll sit down with my wife and decide on the next steps in the coming weeks. So it's going to be interesting. But again, based on everything in the vibe regarding what he's saying, it seems like, I think at least from his perspective, he might be checked out. And there's also some other reports and rumors circulating. I think Chris Johnston yesterday said he's as good as gone. We're going to have another video later tonight on some interesting situations surrounding this particular instance. But you kind of go with that, and then you pair it into what Craig Berube said, and we'll dive into some quotes from him now as well. He says he wants to see Marner and Tavares back 100%. Now, some context for this, he was asked at the end if about any moves. Berube said, I don't want to comment on that. And then he was literally getting out of his chair, and they said, do you want Marner and Tavares back? He said 100%. So it wasn't like a firm, I want him back. I don't think, all these things. It was more of a flyby question with a flyby answer. But bit conflicting here. Though it makes sense for Berube to say that because, I mean, as a head coach, you obviously want your job security, all these things, but you want the best players on your team, even if at this juncture, we know from being Leafs fans for however many years we've been Leafs fans that this is not going to be a winning formula.
Yeah, and I mean, Brube's new here. This was his first season, and these are two really good players, right? On paper, and especially being new, these are great players that I'm sure he would want back to be on his team that he is going to lead next year. And I liked a lot of what Berube said in this press conference as well. But he's new here, right? Like the Leaf fans are over this. They're frustrated. Majority of them, I should say. A lot of people do want Marner back, and I think that it's a little bit ridiculous because there has to be some change at this point. But like you alluded to, it just seems like a guy who seems like he's checked out, and Mitch Marner, and maybe, wants a fresh start at this point. And I just don't know how you come back from all of this. There's jerseys on the ice, like people are booing when you're touching the puck and you're still on the team. Like, I don't know how you come back from that. It started way back in 2019 with the initial contract negotiation, and he skipped out on a few days. I think it was 2 days of training camp at the time. His agent said that he deserved as much as Matthews, if not more, and he was a more valuable player. So obviously stirring the pot there. And then his play didn't follow up. He got the contract, and that was a theme with this organization. Not just Mitch Marner. They gave everybody, Austin Matthews, William Nylander, John Tavares, everything they wanted so then they could perform. They said, we will take care of everything. We'll give you everything you've ever wanted. We'll make you comfortable. And I just don't think being comfortable works in this sport. So they made them super comfortable, fat and happy, and then they didn't respond with anything. They didn't give the fan base or the organization anything back. So it started in 2019 with the contract negotiation. His play didn't follow through with it. So obviously the fan base is starting to turn on him. But again, not the whole thing, a majority of the fan base, I'd say. And they just want change at this point. And as an organization, I don't think you can bring him back at this point. You cannot sign him to a contract extension. And that is poor asset management. That falls on Brendan Shanahan, who should have had him traded 2 years ago, but unfortunately he thought it was a better idea to fire the GM a couple days before, or a couple weeks before that decision needed to be made. So Brendan Shanahan is probably going to pay for this with his job as well, but Mitch Marner, I just don't know how you come back from this in Toronto. I think he needs a fresh start, and I think the organization needs to use the money they're going to save from him to go in a different direction, to get guys with a better mindset, a winning mindset, and guys who can perform in the playoffs.
Yeah, like obviously, is Mitch Marner leaving a good case scenario for the Leafs at this point? I mean, it depends, but asset wise, absolutely not. They should have traded him. They should have got something for him, but I don't want to get stuck in that. You can't really change that now, so you have to. I think you have to let him go, as we like to say over here, and just say you're so long to Mitch Marner, especially if he's going to be. I mean, the option is $14 million, or we build elsewhere. Let us know your thoughts on that. A couple other comments here. Craig Berube opened up the media availability this morning by saying. Basically talked about how much he enjoyed coaching this team, the buy-in from the players. It was excellent. Obviously, nobody was happy with Game 7, but he's proud of the many good things that they did this year. You have Chris Tanev also revealing that he was dealing with, an upper body injury, I believe. So a bunch of different things. A lot of stuff is coming out this time of year, but at the end of the day, you think about the Mitch Marner situation, you think about all these different things. Mitch Marner's time in Toronto is definitely coming to an end there, and it's going to be interesting. And Morgan Riley, we'll have another video on this coming as well, asked about a potential consideration. It's not what I'm thinking about right now. So a lot of changes, a lot of things on the fly. Also, William Nylander saying it's a dream to play in Toronto, all these different things. Let us know down below what your thoughts are. And most importantly, do you want Mitch Marner to stay a Leaf? And if there's one certain thing, is that William Nylander loves to be in Toronto. He loves the team here. And that's at least one positive we can take from today. More videos coming your way. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. See you guys later.